Carlos.
There's more than one of me today.
Yeah. Here, and we've got a couple things we could touch on. I'm a student of the game of health and healing, as Dr. Frank is as well. And one of the fascinating things that we are encountering every day. Now, first of all, the date. It's March 25th, 2020. Yesterday, we just got a new update from the governor here in Wisconsin that states that chiropractors are essential, and therefore we are exempt from closing. We are needed to be open. I've got chiropractors in the state that have closed down. There's an association that thinks we should close down because they're complete med heads. And when I say that, it's not a knock or a chastisement against that whole whatever. It's not personal. The point is that philosophy is based on fear. I'll just put it frankly. But this book right here, The Neurodynamics of the Vertebral Subluxation by A.E. Homewood, is a great book that I read as a student. And to come back, and one of the things, Frank, to get you going, is this chapter right here, which is called, let me see if I can get the title up. Can you read it?
No.
It says, Mental Causes of Subluxation. All right. So there's a body of people that would love to say the subluxation doesn't exist. And my challenge to that is, first of all, Flat Earth Society. Okay, just acknowledge the fact that there's haters, and haters will hate. There's fear, and fear generates more fear. You cannot. Here's my fact for the day from Morley, and that is, you cannot use logic or have a logical debate or discussion with missing truth. So when people state, oh my God, we are in fear. That's the environment right now that we're in. That environment has an influence on our body's ability to adapt to the world. That interface is being clouded because the mainstream media is driving the fear to perpetuate the behavior that mainstream media and the higher owners of the media want the masses to behave like, to think like, and to follow in line, to jump in line and mind the official narrative. Okay, the official narrative is fear. The official narrative is you are incapable. We need to have a drug, and until we find a drug, you are incapable, so you better stay locked up. Dude, I know you could go off on this, so I'm trying to harness this. Positively speaking, okay? So mental causes of subluxation, I brought that up because a subluxation is a three-dimensional physiologic thing. It doesn't have to be a bone out of place, putting pressure on a nerve. In fact, it's a breakdown in communication. Dr. Frank, you know this, so it's not like I'm telling you that. I'm just setting the stage for this conversation about empowering people and having a basis for the empowerment, building people's understanding of the body so they can move forward in confidence today. That's what this is really about. So would you tell me, like in New Jersey, first of all, what's the state of affairs in New Jersey right now? And then slide into what you do in your office to help support the mental breakdown, the emotional or auto-suggestion stress that people are having every day to build their response up, to increase their adaptation. It's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah, lots of stuff. So,
good morning, Kathy.
No, that's Maria. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, Maria.
Yeah. All right. So in New Jersey, the Governor Murphy in New Jersey, just like in your state, basically, I don't like the term essential and non-essential. I know that I'm not saying because you use that, but that's what they are using. That's what they are using. Right. I don't think it's a correct term when you use that word essential, because like, is it essential that you and I would take something as simple as lower back pain, somebody who's like crippled up and they can't move and they're seized up, because again, chiropractic, that's what we're known for, whether we like it or not. Mostly we take care of many, many more things than that. However, if somebody's seized up with back problems, I had on today's Wednesday, I'm losing track of days now because our schedule's different. I think it was Monday. So I had at least 2 or 3 people that came in that were in crises, and I would bet that if I wasn't there to take care of them, and not that I'm the hero, but if I wasn't there to take care of them, they might have been hospitalized. So to your point, Dr. Wade, so was that essential? Was that essential for them? Was that essential for the whole system right now to maybe keep somebody who is not positive for the virus, who is going to take up a bed in a hospital where the hospitals are overloaded with viral conditions right now, as we are all knowing and the world is talking about, and not to belittle that person's back problem and compare it to having a virus, but I think a lot of people listening and or watching would deem a lower back problem less dramatic or less of a problem than having COVID-19 right now. I'm pretty sure people would think that. So was it essential to keep those people out of the hospital with their back problem? I think so. So the governments they might have used the term like emergency medicine or crisis medicine as opposed to non-crisis, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, is somebody going to be going for plastic surgery right now because that's elective and it's cosmetic? I don't know. I'm not going to be the judge of that. I'm just saying whatever. So essential, not essential. That's my feelings about that. I'm biased in my opinion as a chiropractor. However, I think it was very essential that I was there to help those people. I know it's essential for you to be there and help your people. And then let's take it to the point that you said about the mental aspect. I put mental and emotional in the same category, kind of like a split to the degree of emotions are what you feel and mental states are what you think, right? They're both in that emotional mental component of people. And I would say more so now than ever in my career, ever since I've had some training from the Zone School of Healing with principles of healing, that since 2017, I've thought more so than ever that the misalignments, Dr. Wade referred to it as the vertebral subluxation. That's basically what chiropractors take care of. That's the vertebrae shifting out of position, causing nerve irritation, muscle pathology, tissue pathology, etc. Right? Things start to break down as a result of that. That is the short circuiting of the body due to these stressors that we're going through majorly right now. And I would say that 90+%, if not very, very, very close to 100%. I know there's other things. Of course, there's physical stress, like you fell off your roof, God forbid, something like that. And or you come in contact with chemicals like mercury, right? That's not going to be good for you. That's going to create chemical toxicity in your body. But minus those things, the mental and emotional state of us human beings, absolutely positively is what primarily short circuits our systems. So to your point, go ahead.
You think it's major? It's like a primary reason, correct?
More so than anything, Dr. Wade.
Mm-hmm.
More so than anything. I just got a video from my mentor, Dr. Pete Goldman. He sent out a video and he said, the timing of this is very appropriate. Just listen to it. So in one of his hands-on seminars, he was talking about the concept of why people get sick. Why do people get sick in the first place? Now, we've got this quote unquote, I don't even want to use the word, but I'll use the word in this context because people will understand what I'm talking about. I don't like the word pandemic. I don't like the way that they're using it, but we've got this challenge going on, let's say that, with this coronavirus. Dr. Pete comes from the perspective, and I do as well, that people get sick in general more so from, I'll use the term soul sickness, than anything else. 0 to 7, as you know, Dr. Wade, our subconscious minds are developed. From age 0 to around age 7, our subconscious minds are developed. You don't know it. You're in a trance. You're almost in like alpha waves or gamma. I don't even know the brain waves that you're in, but you're receptive at that age. You are receptive to anything, most things, everything in your experience creates and develops your subconscious mind. Now, there's some people that have, let's call them concepts or ideas, right? They think about these concepts and ideas. Some people have a concept that, for example, I'll give you an analogy of, that cow's milk is bad for you. Some people say, I love cow's milk. I drink it every day. I think it's great for you. I think it's great for calcium development. It helps your teeth. It helps your digestion. It's got get the good stuff. Don't get the homogenized pasteurized stuff. Get the organic stuff, whole stuff. And then there's other people say, we're the only species that drinks milk after the infancy stage. And then we actually drink it from a different species. It's not even our same species, right? So I don't think it's good for you. So those are two different thought processes. Those are concepts and ideas, right? You get the idea.
Of course I get it.
I think people get sick related to those types of things. I'm not saying people get sick because they like milk or don't like milk. I'm talking about things like if someone was told from the ages 0 to 7 that they were a piece of junk, right? Their parent was having a bad day. Mommy and daddy were having a bad day that day, and they're human, and they didn't understand and don't understand, and even today don't understand how powerful their words were to little Johnny when he was little. And they slipped and they said, I don't like that behavior, or I don't like this, and you're just a little piece of junk. You know that you're a little piece of junk, and then that stays with somebody even when they're into their 30s and 40s. They may have like digestive issues, for example, and somebody might say, "Wow, John, I am so proud of you. You're awesome. You really did a great job with that." And in his mind, he's going, "Yeah, thanks, man, but you know what? I'm a piece of junk. I mean, I was told I was a piece of junk." In the back of his subconscious mind. Related, what's the word? Manifesting into a digestive problem, because that's the idea, because that breaks down the body. Now, if we go into this virus thing, you keep talking about it. Is fear? I understand that it's. I might give people leeway.
Jump right to it, dude. Right to it.
I would say that I would give them a little bit of leeway that they might be fearful of these times. I'm trying my absolute best to be very, very respectful of that. And I do get it. I do get it, where it's the fear of the unknown, and a lot of people don't know about this topic and how this kind of stuff works, so they are fearful. Do we really think that being in fear is going to serve us? Like, at all? At all? I mean, you're next to a cliff and you get afraid, and you feel like the gravity's pulling you a little bit and you're going to fall off the cliff. Well, that's good when fear hits you there, because that fear is going to keep you back so you don't like die and fall off the cliff. But when we're in this type of arena and there's no, and a lot of people would say, yeah, but Dr. Frank, I disagree, because you can die from the COVID-19. That's a whole nother conversation.
Time out. We're going to go down a rabbit hole here. I'm going to bring you back with this. The difference between fear in the moment, and this is, I completely agree, by the way, but I don't want to agree with everything and just be so boring with this. Like, that's what I love, is we come in with different angles, different views of perspective here, right? Mm-hmm. Viewing points. So fear is fear. Fear can be a benefit. If you're walking up to your apartment and you have a sixth sense where you pick up something and it's creepy and it's real, like you noticed something, someone is looking at you, someone's following you up your stairs, hey, that's there to protect you. There's a great book called The Gift of Fear. Check it out. Bottom line is, not a place to live from, not a place to make decisions from. So when we talk about, to your point, all I'm doing is cutting to the chase. Fear-derived decision-making is going to lead you down a path. Remember, the big narrative here, back to the narrative. We can be compassionate with people's precautionary sense of how to protect themselves. That's good. That's what you're saying. What I'm hearing is that's a healthy respect, but not a place to function from, because you're shattering your immune response. I was just digging, by the way. I wasn't going somewhere else and scrolling through my text. I was looking for an article a buddy sent me that I just read, and I've read like probably 15 in the last, I don't know, freaking 8 hours, 10 hours, 14 hours. So my point is, now it's down to scanning and reading through all, the representation stuff, and then just getting some of these really key bullet points. And one of them was the psychological effects of the fear-driven factor of this, and then the ramifications on the immune system. And so that whole cortisol effect is not only slowing down. What do people do now that they're home? Several patients told me yesterday, they're eating more. They're eating, they're sitting around more, so they're eating more. They're stressed, so they're eating more. And what is the first thing we talked about a while back? I mean, this is just one topic that could go for hours. Is when we eat, our white blood cell count goes up. Why is that? It's because you're firing up the immune system. So one of the easy things is, like Frank was just saying, the stress part, the emotional part is significant. If you're going to sit down stressed and eat, you're going to set off inflammatory markers. That's physiology of the body, because you told the body stress, fight or flight. Your body's going to respond to stress with a high cortisol, with an anti-inflammatory response because of the inflammatory thoughts.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, your opinion, do you feel that someone that might have had a good positive immune response to being exposed to anything, to a virus, to bacteria, to the flu, to the corona, to anything else you want to bring up, do you think that a person that would have had a good immune response generally, but now is in a state of panic and or fear, like you just said, decreases their immune system enough so that when they do become exposed to it, now they're more susceptible and they're catching, I don't want to say catching something, but like catching something that they might not otherwise catch? Do you feel that that's possible in these times?
Heck yeah. But
Yeah.
that's not the message I want to send. Like, hey, you should be afraid because you're worried now. Like, you can't get out of that loop. The reality is, by understanding, you can allow your fears to fall away. So by centering yourself, like meditating, Dr. Frank, like I use an easy method by Emily Fletcher in her book. It's called Zen Meditation, and it's 15 minutes. You don't have to be a yogi or completely enlightened Buddha to be able to do this type of meditation rather. But the bottom line is 15 minutes of, she's got a great little program. Check it out. You can find her online, and it's free. You can just check out Zen Meditation for the listeners. And the key is anyone can do it. You just start focusing on it. And what you're doing is you're centering back into the breath, and you're recognizing your senses, and you're now becoming present. And that's the real gift here, like you just said, is to remain present and not being so far out in the future. You're worried about something that, as you know, 95% of what we worry about never happens. And, we drag our past in there, and we recreate the same future by dragging our past in. And the real challenge, another book, is Breaking the Habit of Being You by Joe Dispenza, which is the recognition that our mental capacity, our emotional experiences are being carried forward. So we are recreating our negative experiences, our same state of function based on our ability to see through that lens, when his technique and strategy is to stop, pay attention, meditate, focus on what it is that's current, and reprogram, tap into the source, tap into the universal source that allows your cells to animate. So Dr. Frank, I mean, you go in your office every day and you're taking a risk to see your patients, and yet you're not in fear. So to some, that's perceived as you're irresponsible. You're not taking this serious enough. They can't even fathom your confidence in the process, that every single day you're touching a keypad in a grocery store that 90 people already touched, or 500 people touched, and that you're using a pen at the checkout to sign your name, and that you've exchanged air in a coffee shop already 2 or 3 times with 50 people, and that this is natural exposure, and yet you don't get sick. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So why now? That's what's funny. Funny peculiar is, why now? Why? Because someone has generated that fear. They've planted that seed of fear, and that grows because you keep feeding it as a person. Now, you aren't doing that, Dr. Frank. You're actually doing the opposite, is trying to reinstill. But it comes in as like foreign. They can't even relate. What do you mean I can? The world says I should be afraid. And the world knows better than you. Jeez.
There's two messages there. Like you said, if someone has the idea and the concept and the belief that for you and I being in our offices in the present time that we're taking care of patients, that we are in fact adding to the problem and potentially harming other people because we're potentially spreading the virus and we're not quarantining. That's an idea. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I agree. I don't agree with that 100%.
Dude, don't bullshit me.
Yeah, well, I don't at all. But the point I'm making is, so here's the second point. So that is, if you're going to have that thought and you're going to opinionate that and you're going to feel that, well, then allow a person like me or Dr. Wade that in fact do know about these things. We do, right? It's not that we don't. It's not like we're not immunologists and we don't work with like viruses and bacteria every day, but this is our world, our healthcare world. We are knowledgeable about how the body works, the immune system works, and how a virus would penetrate the body and do something bad. We know that. We understand that. So in kind, people should have respect for that as well, that we are choosing to do what we're doing in serving and taking care of our patients. So that's the one thought. The second thought is, do you feel as though when people are in that mode of fear or angst or in disagreement, is there more kindness in the world or is there less kindness? Because I got to tell you, man, that's what I'm seeing. We're supposed to come together in times like this. And I know we can have different opinions. I was just on the phone with one of my friends / patients the other day. We were disagreeing about something. And then we spoke for another 20 minutes about something else, right? We were still having a conversation, even though I said, hey, I disagree with you. He goes, you know what? I disagree with you too. No problem. And we just went on. It's okay. Can we still practice kindness? Can we still get along? Can we still not chastise one another or separate ourselves? We're separated enough already. What's your thoughts on that?
I absolutely agree, man. Agree to disagree. Back to the original statement I made with truth and logic. I mean, you cannot have a logic discussion when you're missing truth. You can't have a logical discussion. You can't speak logic if you're missing truth. If you are told that this germ is this, through, by the way, public health officials that were handpicked to what? Deliver a message. And the official narrative is drive fear and safety. Over safe, fear. Reality, look at the numbers. That's our next episode. We're going to look at the current numbers. I think, what did I see? 7 kids over the long haul. How many cases in Wisconsin alone? How many cases in the United States? This is blown way out of proportion. And that I am taking it serious because the people I care for are serious. But I'm also strongly rooted, as are you, in principles of health that come from knowing and not guessing or fear-mongering or being completely weak in the knees. People need leadership, and that is empowering leadership. So to have this discussion, love and kindness will generate a stronger immune response. Faith in the process, not just in your God, but yes, faith in your God, whatever that is. Faith in the process that you are here right now with an adaptive body. And if you haven't been taking care of it, this is your wake-up call. You're not sitting here entitled on your ass, doing nothing, and feel like the government's going to save you. Guess what? They don't give a shit. So that's time to awaken to it. And God bless the fact that you're here and you can listen to this and grow into the next phase, which is, what can I do today? So empowering you today means, like Dr. Frank was just saying, emotional, recognize it. I'm going to say it in a different way. Open up your heart chakra, which means opening up your heart chakra is opening the chest, because everything we do is at our desk. We're on our phones. We're closing down. Our heart chakra is closing. And what happens when we close is emotions get stuck in our body. Well, that's the damage Dr. Frank was just talking about. That's the emotional energy, the physiologic energy that stays in the system, bounces around, and can't get out. However, when he's on the phone with his patient yesterday and they're having a disagreement, he allows the emotion, and I'm just saying this is the ideal, right? Not that we all do this perfectly, because I know I don't. I'll harbor emotions. I get angry. I get upset. I get upset when I see this stuff, but I also have a strategy to download it. And so I'm reminded every day to let emotions pass through me and not have to control them. Therein lies a body that allows things to flow through and then stay opened up to function and physiology and health. And the last thing to your point, so the strategy today is open your heart chakra, breathe, stay in the moment, and trust that your body has this capacity, but do something proactive today. Eat healthy food. If you don't use enzymes, look at enzymes so you digest your food, make it easier on your body. Don't overeat, limit the simple carbs, the cheap simple carbs, the man-made carbs, stick to real food, and supplement where you need.
I would add to that. I would just say breathing. You know what? And I'll full disclosure here. I'll say that in like yoga and different exercises and different stretching routines where they're like, just take a cleansing breath and stuff. I used to think that was, I don't know, just like weird or not really effective. I'm being honest. I just really felt that. I'm like, yeah, come on, give me a break. I cannot emphasize enough right now, while we are in this contracted state, a lot of people are in this contracted state, is to remember to breathe and emphasize the breathing. Take it in through your nose and out your mouth. You don't have to sit there and burn candles and incense and get into like lotus position. I'm not, you can if you want, but I'm just saying, remember even throughout the day, just to breathe. The numbers thing too, Dr. Wade, we'll talk about that next episode like you talked about, but just what comes to mind quickly, just to put this into perspective. Someone was speaking about Italy, and obviously there has been a lot of deaths in Italy. You've heard the same, yes? So people are like, yeah, they're like, Dr. Frank, I know you're talking about this and you're saying it's really, we shouldn't worry as much as everybody's worrying, but what about Italy? Oh my, I'm not belittling any of the deaths there. I think it's extremely, extremely sad. I have my father-in-law, watches Italian television every day. He's still very connected to his country, and he is saddened that these people are not able to even bury these family members, these loved ones properly, because they have to stay quarantined. There's a lot going on. But if you look at the numbers, again, I'm not belittling this, but I'm just keeping it real. There's 61 million people in Italy. 61 million. Even if 500,000, which I hope never happens, but I'm saying even if 500,000 people pass on, I did the math the other day. If I did it correctly, I think it's still like less than 1%. It's 0.8 something. Now, there's other things, there's other conditions known to man in Italy and around the world that are killing people at a way higher rate than that. I'm just saying, I'm trying to put that into perspective. Again, not belittling anything. I'm just saying, like you said a moment ago, look at the numbers. We are focused on this because the media is saying, hey, everybody, look over here, look over here, look here, here, Corona, every single station, every single media outlet, every single thing that's that's the only thing that's being spoken about, period. And that's why there is this hysteria. It's not based on the numbers. That's for damn sure.
I drop the mic. I love it. I mean, the numbers aren't lying. The media is, but again, people, you don't have to worry and think about conspiracy theory. It's called reality and capitalism. Who owns the stations and who drives the capitalistic, benefit from that? It's really not hard to find. You can see the connections. So just the scroller down below, breathe, acknowledge the emotions that you're having, allow them to pass, breathe again, go back into the moment, breathe. And when you get distracted again and you read someone's post, breathe before you respond. Breathe, go back into the breath. So I agree. I was like, it's insignificant, or it's, there's many more important things I should do besides focus on the breathing. And through my yin yoga experiences, it taught me a ton because, and I've shared this before, but it made me want to run off the mat. It made me want to run to the door and get the hell out of there because the feeling was so uncomfortable. And as men in society, we're not taught to allow our emotions to be there because we're supposed to what? like in our generation, we're supposed to suck it up, rub some dirt on it.
Be tough.
You know? Yeah, stop crying. I'll give you something to cry about. That's what I heard as a kid, and it was like, whoa, wait. This doesn't mean getting soft. It's talking about real physiology and what you generate every day. And that's why I walk into my office like Dr. Frank, and I see my patients, and I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it. There are other things that worry me about the dark sides. But again, I also, with my brush and experience in the last 2 years, I am less fearful and more excited about contributing and going out with a bang than I am about worried about flickering and some bug taking over. It's going to be it is what it is. So this is about you as individuals taking action today to be your best self, empowering yourself to be the healer you are, and to take the steps forward and share that with your neighbors. Share your confidence with your neighbors. Don't share your fear with your neighbors. What are some final words, buddy, before we wrap this up?
So yeah, so to that point, I was out on my front yard doing a little bit of yard work the other day because what else are you going to do? So I was outside getting some fresh air, doing some yard work in the front, and people are outside, people are walking around. I would imagine it's a lot. It's the same in a lot of places, maybe in your area as well. People are just riding bicycles and they're outside, and there's time to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I had a friend. She's also a patient. Her children are also patients. Haven't seen them in a while, but friendly as well. And she just had like a little 5-minute conversation with me as she was walking by, and she just said to me, she goes, "I am so glad I ran into you. I just needed a voice of reason." And I don't even know if I am or not. I'm just saying that we talked about a couple of the things we just mentioned today, and it just put her at ease, and it put her a little bit more at peace to not be in that fear mode. Because she said to me, she goes, "You know what, Dr. Frank, I got to tell you, I last night I was slipping. I almost, I was going there. I was getting there. I'm so glad I ran into you today and just, spoke this out a little bit, talk this out a bit." She goes, "I feel so much better." I mean, friendships are being lost over this. You realize that? I don't know if you've heard that yet, Dr. Wade. Like friendships are being like nixed. Long friendships, because I believe this, you believe that. I believe you're threatening the situation. I don't believe I am threatening the situation. We disagree. And now I'm not your friend anymore. I mean, it's insanity. Let's not let that happen.
Correct. That's a shame. And that's the small bubble that people want to live in. Like, they want to live in a bubble. They want only the people around them that can agree with their viewpoint, which is very, very narrow scopist, which is very small minded. And what it's telling is you've lost the ability to tolerate and adapt. And that is a scary thing as human beings. We need to stay open to variation. So it's funny. And we can talk politically never with our patients and in our offices, but the extremist viewpoints are like, one of them is that we should be accepting of all, when really that same belief isn't accepting of any. It's completely hypocritical.
It's
and
the double standard of our country right now.
It's the double standard, right? So God bless you all. We're going to keep this extremely clean on your behalf, and the message is very, very positive, very, very optimistic, but not blind optimism, and not just positivity just to have it. It's called based on history, based on science, and based on the reality and the wisdom of the body that's been around for, well, organisms throughout this planetary existence are designed to heal, mend, and adapt. That's what you're designed for. So bless all your peeps over there and your family, Dr. DeLolo. And until next time, folks, we'll see you next time. This is Dr. Ananson and
Dr. DeLolo. Practice kindness. Practice kindness.
All right. Ciao, everybody.